Tell me about your trip to, was it Kenya or was it Sierra Leone?
Sierra Leone.
Did that happen before you went to Quito or?
Yeah, yeah. So my family was always really into traveling. My mom and dad really loved traveling, and so I got to travel a lot as a kid. We went to Brazil when I was a little kid. We went to Europe when I was a teenager. We went all over the US and to Hawaii, and we got to go to a lot of really cool places. So I always had the bug
Yeah.
to travel different places and get to know different places. And when I was in college, I went to Alma College,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really tiny liberal arts college in the middle, pretty much the middle of nowhere in mid Michigan.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think at first glance that that is a doorway to the rest of the world, but it really is. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, at Alma College, it's very unique in the fact that it is very small and it's in a rural part of Michigan, but it also has a ton of opportunity to travel to
I
different
see.
places in the world and do have different opportunities around the world. So we have, I went on a spring term to Europe in my freshman year. And shortly after that, I did a service project and research project where I went to Sierra Leone with three of who are now some of my greatest and oldest friends.
I see.
And I did a service project there working in the therapeutic feeding center. And when I say service project, I really mean it was a learning project. There's not a whole lot that 18-year-old without any special training or knowledge can do to serve at a hospital or therapeutic feeding center in Sierra Leone. So when I say it was a service project, it was really a learning project for us, right? And so we went and did our learning and our service there, and I also did a research project there, interviewing people who had been victims and survivors of the civil war
I see.
in Sierra Leone. And I have to say that was uh, one of the bigger shocks of my life, having come from Midwest
Yeah.
Michigan, mid
Yeah.
Michigan. Not that I hadn't been to other places in the world, but I had been to Europe and I had been to other places in the United States, to Canada and to the Caribbean, but on a cruise, right? So I had always kind of been very much in a bubble,
Yeah.
protected from anything that was, you know, uh, anything that you would see in developing countries in the global south. And so when I went to Sierra Leone, which is one of the at that time, I'm not sure where it stands now, but at the time one of the poorest countries in the
Mm-hmm.
world, it was really shocking and it was really disturbing to me, I would say, as an 18-year-old, very naive 18-year-old. Um, I met some amazing people there, heard incredible stories. In my interview series was quite eye-opening.
I
And I
see.
do think that that probably solidified my conviction to say
Mhm.
my life is not going to be just for me. My life has to be about making other people's and righting these wrongs. Um, it wasn't until more recently, maybe in the last 5 years, that I actually started to understand why
Mhm.
things are the way they are. But at least when I was 18, I just knew that this wasn't right and knew that there was something wrong in the world that was making this poverty and destruction happen in places like that. So yeah, I did that, and Sierra Leone is an incredible place to be and has incredible people. Um, but it had a level of poverty that I just hadn't seen before. And
Yeah.
when you see that for the first time, it's, it's disturbing. And I think people who grow up in the global South, uh, are just, like naive American girl that doesn't know what she's doing, doesn't know where she is, which is true when I was 18. But yeah, I think that was definitely a turning point for me in my convictions and what I wanted to do with my life afterward.
That was like, I guess probably the first time when you got to see, what a big part of the world that we don't really see here normally, right? Gets
Hmm.
to. gets to
Mhm.
experience on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, what a
So
tiny
must have
bubble
been
I was living in before.